A horror incident occurred when a group of students who traveled to Chiang Mai for a dance competition decided to stay an extra day for sightseeing. This led them to search for accommodation, and they eventually came across a rental house. It was this very house that caused them to encounter such terrifying events that they couldn't stay even for a single night. Before we dive into our scary story, we would like to ask everyone to like and subscribe to support us in continuing to bring you more terrifying tales in the future. This story is about Tara. The event dates back to 8 years ago when she was studying at a college. At that time, a dance competition was held, which was a regional dance competition, and it was organized in Chiang Mai. Tara and her seniors formed a group to participate in this competition. During the journey to the dance competition, there were several teachers and adults accompanying them. After the dance competition was over, Tara and the other seniors felt that they wanted to stay and explore the place before returning. So they went to ask the teachers and adults who came with them, and the teachers had no problem with it, allowing Tara and her friends to stay for one more day and return by themselves the next day, while the teachers would return first. After discussing this, Tara and the seniors went to a dormitory, which was the dormitory of a friend of one of the seniors. This dormitory was located in the city near a famous college in the province, surrounded by many other houses and dormitories. Everyone gathered in that senior's room to discuss where to go the next day. Initially, they thought the room would be large enough for everyone to stay together, but it turned out to be a small, typical dormitory. Since there were more than 10 people in Tara's group, it was impossible for everyone to stay in that one room. They decided to divide into two groups. One group would stay there, and the other group would look for accommodation outside, with those who had some money renting a room. Since they were students, they didn't have much money. It was decided that the group looking for outside accommodation would consist of 6 people, all of whom were couples. The first couple was Tara and her boyfriend, the second couple was her friend Kate and her boyfriend, and the last couple was a senior named Nicole and her boyfriend. Since it was already late in the evening, Tara suggested that they go find something to eat first and then look for accommodation. While eating, everyone chatted and had fun until it was almost 9 p.m. Seeing that it was getting late, Tara urged everyone to find accommodation before it got too late and they would have nowhere to sleep. None of them were locals, so they decided to hire a red songthaw, shared taxi, and asked the driver to help them find a hotel. However, they forgot that it was winter and there were many people from other provinces in town for the dance competition, which made most hotels fully booked. Even motels and hourly rate rooms were fully booked. They spent almost 2 hours looking for a place to stay, but to no avail. So they returned to the senior's friend's room to discuss what to do next. The senior who owned the room suggested looking for a monthly rental room or house in the area, since there were several monthly rental properties nearby. They could call the owners and ask to rent just for one night. Once everyone agreed on this plan, they left the dormitory and split up to look for rental places in the alleys. Eventually, Tara and Kate found a house with a sign indicating it was available for monthly rental. The house was a 2-story house. The lower part was concrete and the upper part was wood. It looked like an ordinary house in that area. They felt interested in this house because it was in a community with many houses around it. They decided to call the number on the sign in front of the house. Not long after, an older woman answered the call. Her voice sounded like she had just woken up. Tara quickly said that they wanted to rent the house for one night because they had been looking for a hotel for a while but found none available. She asked if the house owner could rent it to them. Upon hearing this, the house owner told Tara to wait in front of the house, saying she would come to meet them. In less than 5 minutes, an older woman came down from the neighboring house, which was next to the house they wanted to rent. The woman looked like she had just woken up and seemed quite drowsy. Tara then asked the woman, "How much do you charge for rent? We just want to stay for one night." The woman asked, "How many people will be staying?" "6 people, right? The house has 3 rooms in total. Do you want to rent all 3 rooms? I can open all the rooms for you." Hearing this, Tara quickly agreed because they were all couples, which would be convenient. The woman then said, "If that's okay, I'll charge you only 1,000. After agreeing, the woman walked over to open the gate and led everyone into the house. On the ground floor, there was one bedroom, which was immediately on the right as they entered. Kate asked to stay in this room with her boyfriend. Next to this room was a wooden staircase leading to the second floor. The woman led Tara and Nicole to see the second room. This room was next to the staircase. When they reached the second floor, the room was on the right. When the woman opened the door, the room looked quite old. Inside, there were no windows and it seemed rather gloomy. However, the bed and wardrobe were still functional. Finally, they reached the last room, which was where Tara and her boyfriend were supposed to sleep. This room was opposite Nicole's room, but they had to walk to the end of the hallway, where the doors to this room and Nicole's room were directly opposite each other. As they stopped in front of the room, both Tara and her boyfriend looked at each other, feeling something was strange. This was the only room that had a chain and padlock securing it, and more frighteningly, there was a red talisman, the size of an A4 paper, stuck on the door. Tara stayed silent, not daring to say anything until the woman unlocked the door and opened it for them, saying, "Go in and have a look inside first." In her mind, Tara was scared, so she let her boyfriend go in first. The inside of the room was quite dark, so he used his phone to turn on the flashlight and looked around. He saw the light switch next to the wall, but when he reached out to turn it on, the light didn't work. Tara's boyfriend shone the flashlight on the bed and saw that the room was uninhabitable. The bed was broken, the wardrobe was broken, and the room was full of dust, as if it had not been cleaned for a long time. When he went to check the bathroom, it was clear that the room had barely been used because it had a musty smell and was full of dirt. Tara decided that she would go sleep with Kate downstairs, but as she turned around to tell the woman was no longer there. At that moment, Tara felt scared, so she quickly led her boyfriend out of the room and locked the door back as it was. Then she went downstairs and saw the woman talking to Kate and Nicole. Tara told the woman that she would sleep in the same room as Kate because the upstairs room was unusable. The light didn't work, and the bed was broken. The woman replied, "Oh, really? Then, okay. I'll get an extra mattress, pillow, and blanket for you." The woman went back to her house for a while and then brought the extra mattress. Tara then gave the woman 1,000 baht, and the woman returned home. Everyone quickly arranged their clothes on their beds. As time passed and it was nearly midnight, Kate started to feel hungry, so she invited the others to go out and find something to eat. At that time, Tara told her boyfriend that she would stay home and wait for them to go eat, since she wanted to save money for sightseeing the next day. So, Kate and Nicole's couples went out, while Tara played music and lay down with her boyfriend, waiting for the others to return. After a while, Tara suddenly heard a noise from upstairs. It sounded like someone was shaking the door latch. The noise came from the room they had checked earlier. She and her boyfriend looked at each other. At that moment, no one else was in the house except the two of them. Tara tried not to say anything and stayed silent. After a while, The noise of the shaking latch turned into the sound of heavy footsteps walking back and forth in front of the door. The heavy footsteps then turned into running back and forth on the second floor. Tara and her boyfriend moved closer to each other because they knew that something was not right. The running sound continued, and they could feel the vibrations reaching the ground floor. Tara then told her boyfriend, "Let's go sit outside. There's a bench there, and at least we can see other houses, which might be more comforting than staying here." Her boyfriend agreed, so they grabbed some snacks and went to sit outside. They played music and ate snacks together to avoid the silence. Until 2 a.m., Kate and Nicole's couples returned from the restaurant. Everyone looked at Tara with confusion and asked, "Why are you sitting here?" Tara tried to avoid the question by saying that the atmosphere outside was better than inside and she just wanted to sit and enjoy the breeze. Everyone sat and chatted on the bench for a while before heading off to bed. Now, Tara and her boyfriend were downstairs in the same room as Kate, while Nicole and her boyfriend went to the upstairs room. But within 5 minutes, before Tara could fall asleep, she received a call from Nicole's boyfriend. When she answered, he said, "Hey Tara, why is the door to the room with the talisman open?" Tara looked at her boyfriend, remembering clearly that she had locked the door with the padlock before coming downstairs. She replied softly, "I locked it," but she tried to reassure Nicole's boyfriend, "It's nothing, just go to sleep. It's only a few more hours until morning." Nicole's boyfriend seemed unbothered and hung up. However, within 5 minutes, from the quiet room, they suddenly heard the sound of footsteps again. This time, it was the same pattern. 2 steps and then running rapidly, with heavy thuds louder than before, causing the downstairs room to shake. Everyone in the room heard it. Nicole's boyfriend called Tara again. "Tara, I think someone is running outside my room." At that moment, everyone in the room heard it because Tara had the speaker on. But no one responded to Nicole's boyfriend. Everyone remained silent. Then Nicole's boyfriend spoke again. "Do you hear the running?" Tara quickly replied, "Don't pay attention to it. Just sleep. Morning will come soon." Everyone else tried to comfort Nicole's boyfriend, saying it might just be rats. Shortly after, Nicole's boyfriend hung up again. Tara got up to turn on the light in the room and suggested that they sleep with the light on tonight because she was starting to feel scared of the strange occurrences in the house. Not even 5 minutes after the noise stopped, the footsteps started again. This time, it sounded like running and banging on the floor, as if someone was trying to make the loudest noise possible. And it didn't stop. It continued for almost 10 minutes before gradually fading away. Nicole's boyfriend called again, this time sounding shaky and scared. "Hey, guys, I can't take this anymore. Can you come get me? I don't dare to open the door. Please come get me." While Nicole's boyfriend was speaking, everyone could hear Nicole crying in the background. Hearing this, they said, Okay, calm down. Gather yourself. We're coming right now." Once they gathered enough courage, they all stood together and slowly walked up the stairs to the second floor. When Tara looked at the room with the talisman, it appeared locked with the chain and padlock as usual, not as Nicole's boyfriend had described earlier. When they reached Nicole's room, the others quickly opened the door and went inside while Tara waited at the door, seeing that there were already enough people in the room. The light was on, revealing Nicole sitting on the bed, hugging her knees and crying, while her boyfriend looked frantic and pale. Everyone asked, "What happened? What's wrong?" Nicole's boyfriend replied, "Don't ask anything now. Let me pack up and we'll talk downstairs." As Nicole's boyfriend was busy packing, Tara suddenly heard a door creak open behind her. She slowly turned to look and was shocked. Just moments ago, she saw the door was locked, but now it was slowly opening. Even more disturbing was a pale, ghostly hand with dirty, blackened nails reaching over the top of the door. Tara stood there in shock, unable to move, staring at the door as it continued to open slowly. What nearly made Tara faint was seeing a female figure with long hair, wearing a white shirt and a black skirt, clinging to the opening door like a lizard. This sight was more terrifying than if the woman had simply been standing. Tara almost lost her mind and then heard a scream from behind her. This seemed to snap Tara back to reality, and she turned to look into the room. Everyone was staring at the door, and it seemed they saw the same figure. The scene was chaotic. Tara's boyfriend grabbed her arm and rushed her downstairs, while others either jumped or ran down as fast as they could. Everyone gathered on the ground floor, and they heard Nicole's cries from upstairs. Realizing Nicole hadn't come down, her boyfriend immediately ran back up to get her. He found Nicole locked inside the room with the door latch closed from the outside. In a panic, he opened the latch and brought Nicole downstairs. Once Nicole was downstairs, she appeared to be in a state of shock, unable to respond to questions and just crying. The group decided they could no longer stay in the house. Just then, they heard a loud banging of a door upstairs, like someone had slammed it with great force, shaking the entire house. The group's noises were loud, crying, shouting, running, and door slamming. But strangely, none of the villagers or the house owner came to check. After hearing the door slam, everyone ran towards the front of the house. As they reached the road, a woman's voice shouted from inside the house, "Where are you going?" At first, Tara thought it was the house owner, but when she turned around, there was no one. The voice seemed to come from the second floor. Everyone hurried back to their senior friend's room, crowding inside in fear. The senior quickly tried to comfort them and asked what had happened. Nicole's boyfriend, the first to regain composure, began explaining. When he first went upstairs, he saw the door with the talisman slightly open and called Tara to ask who had opened it. After the call, he went to shower and do his business. Then he heard running footsteps and called Tara again. He continued, "Do you guys know the running I heard? It wasn't from the floor. It sounded like it was coming from the ceiling, moving to the door, like it was climbing the walls. Then it went silent." After hanging up as he was about to sleep, he heard the running again. Curious, he decided to peek through the door to see what was making the noise on the ceiling. But as he opened the door slowly, the running stopped, and what he saw was unbearable. The door with the talisman, once ajar, was now open, and in front of it, a woman was crouching with her back to him. Realizing she was being watched, she slowly turned her head. Terrified, he quickly shut the door and called everyone to come up. He was certain what he saw was not human. No one slept that night after hearing his story. They stayed awake until morning and decided to abandon their plans, hastily returning home.